Hello and welcome to the Live Well, Be Well, a wellness show where we explore diverse ways to boost health and well-being and connection. Breathe, thrive and feel alive. My name is Deborah from Be Well with Deborah. I'm a wellness coach and your show host for today. The purpose of the show is to inspire and educate as we explore the many paths of wellness together. Creating community and connection is vital for true wellness, and here we have the opportunity to listen to those doing incredible work in the wellness field, as well as those individuals with inspiring personal stories of their own wellness journey. My intention is that the insights and experiences shared here bring you inspiration, encouragement and hope, especially if you or your loved ones are facing any challenges on your own wellness journey. Today's guest is Karina Healy, a dedicated and inspiring community development professional with over a decade of experience. She is currently the coordinator of the Lantern Project at Nano Nagle Place, Cork, a unique initiative focused on promoting mental, emotional and social well-being through community education and engagement. At the heart of the Lantern Project are the values of kindness, connection and community, principles that Karina brings to life through inclusive programs, creative workshops and compassionate outreach. Her work centres around building safe, supportive spaces where people feel seen, heard and empowered. Karina is deeply passionate about bringing people together through learning, creativity and shared experience. Whether it's through storytelling, skill building or simply being present, her mission is clear: to help others feel that they belong and that their lives matter. Welcome to the show, Karina.
Thank you so much, Deb. I'm delighted to be here.
Oh, fantastic. How are you feeling today?
Well, I kind of feel a little bit honoured really to be here. And when you're reading the introduction there, just a whole sense of pride in what we do. It just feels like so important, the work that we do. And it's just so lovely to be able to share the good news about what we do.
Fantastic.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Fantastic, Karina. So can you tell me, I'm curious for our listeners to begin to learn and discover more about you, what first drew you to community development work?
Well, I suppose I'm the youngest of 5 children in my own family, and our home was always a place of welcome, and there was always visitors coming, and we were always having different people come into our home place. So that whole ethos was always part of my upbringing. I had very loving parents and a bigger circle of family, and there was always a reason to bring people together. And I remember even as a small child being upstairs listening to my neighbours on the road. They would gather, the women would gather on a Tuesday night once a month after the children's allowance money came out, and they would gather in each other's homes. But the night that it was in my home, I remember the laughing, the banter and the serious conversations that used to go on downstairs. And even at that young age, knowing the importance of coming together, having the conversations, allowing people the space to be together. And then as I moved on through my life, and even in my own home, I always felt like that there was a place for hospitality and warmth, and I could see how much that was really important to people's well-being. So when it came to my work then, the Lantern Project always felt like an extension of everything I wanted to be part of, in terms of creating safe spaces, allowing people to be themselves, show up as they are, but be guided and cared for in a safe environment.
Beautiful, and I really feel like that you walk your talk, that your ethos, that the energy that you carry like through you and into the work that you do, so that's so beautiful. For those that are unfamiliar, maybe they haven't heard about the Lantern Project, would you be able to share a little bit about what the Lantern Project is and what kind of programs do they run here?
So the Lantern Project is part of the Nano Nagle Place family, and we work, both myself and Gerald O'Sullivan work together to coordinate the Lantern Project. So the things that we offer are community education and events, but everything we offer, it has a focus on well-being and wellness. So people may come in and learn to crochet, But what's really happening in the room, the magic that happens in the room, is the social connection, it's the empowerment, the education, you know, the sense of being part of something greater than yourself. And the people that come into the Lantern Project oftentimes are referred from different support groups or from various health practitioners, maybe mental health nurses or, you know, other recovery groups, or so they come through referrals. Some people come because they've heard about us through word of mouth, but each person that comes in the door identifies with the fact that they have had some level of vulnerability in their lives. And when they come through the door to us, they come with the expectation of learning something, but we never hide our agenda. It's always about allowing people a space to reflect on what supports their well-being, and then walking alongside them to try and see if we can encourage them along that path, whatever that looks like. It might be learning the techniques and the practices of mindfulness, or it might be to crochet something, or to create a piece of art, or to do movement, or every single thing that we offer. There's an agenda around you, your well-being, and what's correct for you in order to choose the right path towards that aim of wellness.
Fantastic. I really love that. It sounds that you offer a lot of support and mental, like social well-being in a lot of practical ways. And I'm curious, has there been any programs that you've run that have really stood out, that you've really seen have supported the people that come through the doors of the Lantern Project, that have supported them in their well-being, their health, the sense of connection?
Yeah, we're really blessed to have had so much. We've had incredible tutors over the years, and each person has brought their gifting and stayed with us for an amount of time, and some stayed longer than others, but we've had incredible facilitators. So I would say, I suppose, the most recent experience, only yesterday, one of our ladies who was part of the crochet group, she's been with us for some time, and she's taken part in the writing of a book that we launched in UCC a number of years ago. She's taken part in our art installation creation, which was exhibited at the Fluxman, and only yesterday we received the invitations, and she is going to be having her work for sale in the Nano Nagle Place design shop.
Wow, fantastic.
So when we think about the journey that lady has made, and the crochet ladies are a mighty group of women in terms of their encouragement of each other, and the tutors that we have in place there have really been part of that empowerment journey for that lady. So I'm really happy to say that, just as an exemplar, an example of somebody who's been truly empowered and allowed to step into her gifting, this lady called Margaret Doody is going to be exhibiting her work and selling her work, Doody Designs, in the Nano Nagle Place design shop, and the launch will be on the 29th of this month at 11 a.m. and it's all baby hats, baby booties, and baby outfits and cardigans. And I love that her name really lends itself to the designs, because in Cork here, anybody who has a baby, they have doodies or dodos for their mouth, or a dummy, and her name is Doody. So I really love the fact that her name, Margaret Doody, is from Doody Designs.
Oh, brilliant! That's fantastic. Yeah, that's well done, Margaret.
Absolutely.
It must be really, you must feel really proud when you see people come in that have gone through some really tough, challenging times, and to see how the programs, as you said, like even things like, say, knitting, crocheting, it's not just the knitting, it's not just the actual activity, it's bringing people together, helping people feel like they belong, and creating that sense of connection. Would you speak into your thoughts and how you feel around the power of connection personally, and also how you and your team at the Lantern Project then aim to actually bring that sense of connection and belongingness into every single person who crosses the threshold of your premises?
Well, the whole ethos of Nano Nagle Place is first and foremost welcome, and I think people really can see the authenticity of the people that are working there in the whole site, you know, from the shop, museum, also in the Cork Migrant Centre, our partner outreach, community outreach group, and from the sisters themselves who are living there, the 3 resident sisters, the spiritual outreach. There's an authentic welcome for people that come through the door. And of course, we're never working alone. You know, obviously the tutors that come into the space, even the caretakers that welcome you at the door, you know, everybody is on the same mission to make people feel really welcome and accepted just the way they are. And the people that come through the door burdened and, you know, full of their story about what happened to them, you know, we merely allow them to leave that at the door and come in and experience the connection, the acceptance, and possibly even joy, you know, very soon into their step inside the door, you know. And of course, like, we're not just isolated, as I say, we do refer people to services. You know, it's really important for us that people are well supported outside of the space, so that when they come into us, they can step in and be part of and engage with the different activities and groups that we have on offer. So signposting would be a big part of my job, you know, finding resources for people so that they can get supports for whatever their particular need is. You know, I'd often refer people to counsellors or, you know, people that could be of support to them, or the support groups as well.
Brilliant. So we're going to go for a little break now. It's been really interesting and insightful, and we're going to touch back in around wellbeing and connection when we come back from our break. Thank you, Karina. So welcome back to the Live Well Be Well show. I'm Deborah, and today I'm speaking with Karina, who works for the Lantern Project, and we're talking all about the power of connection and the amazing work that the Lantern Project do for the community and the well-being of the people of Cork City. I'm curious, Karina, what has been the most rewarding part of your journey with the Lantern Project so far?
I think it would have to be meeting people, meeting each individual, and that's my favourite part of the job, when I get to chat and connect and, you know, really meet people, and the honour that I really place on holding the stories that people share with me and being able to be that kind space where they feel that they're allowed to tell their story without judgment. And it's not my job to counsel or to, you know, to give advice. I just need to listen and to be there for a person. And for me, that has been the gift, really, of being able to hold space for people. And then, you know, in seeing them come through the other side and feel that sense of home and feel that sense of being accepted, and seeing if we can walk a little bit of the journey with them and meet them along the way, and seeing the transformational impact that community education has.
Fantastic, sounds gorgeous. And I'm curious, why do you think community-based support is so important and vital for mental health and well-being of people?
I think that there's a huge shift in culture in the last number of years in terms of, you know, the decline of numbers of people attending churches and maybe other organisations that held people's interest. But I really do feel that even community spaces, you know, where people would gather because of maybe, I don't know, fears of social misbehaviour or something, there's been less and less gathering of people, you know. Like, you can even feel the excitement and the atmosphere around the concerts at the moment that are on all over the city.
Very much
Like,
so.
everybody's loving the fact that they can come together in a big crowd and celebrate music, you know. But for me, the Lantern Project, it holds that kind of space for people, you know, being part of a community. Some people come and they do maybe one course with us and they leave, but other people have come and become part of the community. And just like Margaret that I mentioned earlier, maybe taking part of in one many more of the courses, you know, and made the place their own in terms of being part of a community. So it's just so important to have new spaces and to recreate new spaces where people can gather. I even drove through town last night and I saw outside the Grand Parade Hotel, that used to be the Grand Parade Hotel, all the seating there, the public seating, people were all gathering there. So if you create the spaces, people will come, you know, and it's about making more of those spaces more available to people. And it's really lovely then when they're facilitated, like in a space like the Lantern Project in Nano Nagle Place. We have our gorgeous gardens there, you know, our contemplative garden space, and it's open to the public from Tuesdays to Sundays, and it's for free. So that's a space where people can be together and just enjoy time together, you know, and be in the company of others, even if it's the case that you're sitting on the grass, you know, and somebody else is sitting on the seat reading their book. You know, you can still hold space with people, even though you're separate, really. But it's a kind space.
Yeah, fantastic. And it sounds like you've managed to cultivate a beautiful, inclusive space. You speak about that there's a lot of people who come through the door multiple times. How can people begin to create a safe space for those in the community, or if somebody wanted to connect better with others? Is there any ways that they can be able to create more inclusive spaces for, say, in community settings, or just even in their everyday friendships and life? How can people become more inclusive of others?
I heard us described in Cork and Kerry recently as social millionaires, and the man that was speaking to us was at a presentation of Psyched Awards, which is the Healthy Cities initiative around being proactive about your health and well-being in workplaces. But the man was a visiting nurse, or actually I'm not even too sure of his qualifications, but it really impacted me about us in Cork and Kerry being social millionaires. And it genuinely isn't rocket science. It's about making that connection with people. If it's the case that you're standing in a bus queue, or if it's the case that you're in the shop with the shopkeeper, it's about trying to step out in your courage to make each connection count. We live by something in the Lantern Project that we heard many years ago by Dr. Karen Treisman at a training that we did in the City Hall that was organised by many parties, the NTU and the Cork Education and Training Board, the Health Executive Service and Cork City Council. And she spoke about every interaction being an intervention. And both Ger has it stapled on or sellotaped onto his laptop, and I speak about it regularly, because each person that we encounter during the day, be it on a phone call or in the corridor on the way to the bathroom or going into a course or welcoming people at the door, we feel that they're the most powerful droplets of connection that you can make with people. You know, in terms of building trust with people and building relationship, it really is just about taking your courage and saying hello, making eye contact, making that initial connection, and you never ever know where it's going to lead. And it's always a surprise, really.
It is. You could have a stranger at the bus stop, and just by taking that courage and opening your mouth and saying hello, you never know where the conversation is going to lead or flow.
Yeah.
It sounds beautiful. It sounds really, really good. I'm also very curious as well. You use creativity as a tool for connection. How does that work, say, in a community setting?
Well, I suppose for my own life and Ger's life, who I work with very closely, we're both musicians. I sing. Ger sings and is prolific, has loads of albums, and we see music as being a completely access point for any community education based beginning. You know, our arts and crafts, that creativity, music, arts, crafts, you know, learning to move, to dance, all those creative ways. It's like as if it nearly opens up the channels in your body or in your mind and allows the true you to step forward without having any manual, because your voice will betray you, let it all out, or your piece of artwork will betray you and it will let it all out, but that's a good thing, you know. It's like we see people lose their inhibitions around, if they can get beyond the initial blockages that they have about, oh, you couldn't draw a straight line in school, or if you can get beyond that, we create the most beautiful things. And collectively, I'm so excited at the moment because we're working on an art installation, and I have just been so absolutely delighted every week to see the changes in the little productions. There's 12 people, and I have never seen more individual pieces, and the colours are outstanding, and the whole piece is going to be brought together and exhibited on the 23rd of September in the Glucksman. And each individual piece is so vibrant and so alive. The whole piece is called Tending to Your Garden, and even last night, they finished up yesterday their last gathering before the summer, and they'll be back again in September. But even yesterday they spoke about wanting to have all the senses activated. So we engaged somebody to make a soundscape for a garden, and that artist is going to work on that piece. Beautiful. And we spoke about getting Irish made essential oils, so that they basically can be smells and sounds as well as the colours and the textures and the visual for the whole installation. So the excitement I feel around all those creations, along with the people that are creating them, and the surprise I get at how brilliant the creations are. When you see the first day starting off and you see the colours and the paints on the table and the bit of, you know, the bit of paper.
How something so beautiful is created from nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. All because people went wild and let their one wild and precious life flow out of themselves, you know.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of joy and a lot of freedom as you talk about the power of creativity and people, just getting beyond their minds to see what can flow through them, which is super, super powerful.
Yeah, and I feel it myself in my own life, you know, when I step into that space of singing my songs and walking that beach and being in places of beauty where I find that I feel most at home, then I am the happiest girl.
When you speak of walking the beach and you speak of singing, are they tools then that you would lean into for your own well-being? Because I can imagine holding space, like I'm a space holder as well, I work with people and it's lovely and it's brilliant, and then there's also that need for self-care, that need to fill our own cups up. So what ways would you support your own health and your well-being when you're not working then?
Well, every morning that I walk into the garden in Nano Nagle Place, I just am so thankful, and I do start with gratitude, and I really do ask that each person that would come through the door would get what they need. But my own heart is that also that I would be enough. So in order for me to be enough, I'm so thankful that we regularly retreat to Kerry, and I walk the beach there, and I love paddling and having my feet in the water and feeling the sand between my toes and just really earthing myself. And then of course time with family. You know, I love my 3 adult children now. They're not children anymore. I love spending time with them, you know, and just so proud of being able to share space and time with them. And I have a great husband who really anchors me and makes sure that, you know, that I am the best I can be in terms of being rested. And I love to share food with people and open my home, and singing is everything for me. I love it. I love singing, and we have a lovely music group down in Kerry that we meet with on Saturday nights, and it's magical, you know, to spend time with other musicians and to hear all their inputs as well. So I love singing, but I love listening just as much.
Gorgeous. And if we had somebody listening to the show today and they were feeling a bit down, if they were feeling unmet, unseen, disconnected, have you any kind words or any insights that would be able to help somebody in that position today?
I really do. I think that stepping outside of yourself and helping somebody else is such a gift to yourself.
Mm.
You know, if you can find an area where you can put yourself aside and step into supporting somebody else, even if it's an animal, you know, finding somebody who needs your support outside your own door, maybe a neighbour or something like that. That seems to be that altruistic way of being. It seems to be where well-being stands. If you can still, you know, care for yourself in that. I'm not asking for, but just if there's also a routine in place for yourself, you know, I think the simplest thing of walking out your door, just going for a walk, being in nature, oh my God, being in nature, sitting on the grass, you know, being among trees, going to the beach. We're so blessed in Cork City, everything is so near. You know, we can get a bus to the beach, no problem, you know. It's really accessible to us. So being in nature and, you know, taking the time to nourish your body, your mind, and allowing yourself to be free from social media or newscasts, and, you know, giving yourself a break, because my biggest thing in this city is that we are completely overrun with news, and I think the news nearly always brings fear, and the fear creates isolation and loneliness, and we need to try to tackle that epidemic, really. It's a big thing.
100%. And the future of the Lantern Project, what are your hopes for the future of the Lantern Project, and also do you have any events coming up?
So Nano Nagle Place is an incredible place, and I know that there's so many people who are wishing that place well, you know. So I believe that there's a great holding of the future of Nano Nagle Place as a whole, and I suppose the Lantern Project within that is so blessed to be part of that whole family. I mean, we have partners all over the world, you know, who are the Presentation family, really, the Presentation sisters, who are the people who are Nano's congregation that she formed many years ago, and the whole Presentation worldwide community is loving Nano Nagle Place. And when I think about my colleagues in Cork Migrant Centre and the life-changing impact that they're having on policies and ways of being in this country, you know, I am so proud of it. So I don't know what the future is going to hold for the Lantern Project. I just know that it's very bright and really good, and it's held by a lot more people than me. You know, there's incredible tutors. I've had an incredible intern for the last couple of months, Sass Smith. He came all the way from Bangalore, and he has been such a great support. And of course, we wouldn't even exist without our volunteers. Our volunteers are key to everything. There's so much to be said, and of course, I can't stop without mentioning our funders. The HSE have been incredible, Cork Educational Training Board, the Mercy Sisters, the Bon Secours, the Hospital Saturday Fund, the National Lottery, and so many more. So it's been really a blessing to have such encouragement from people who believe in our work and believe in the power of just being loving to people and kind to people and meeting them where they're at with an accessible community education offering that people can engage in freely.
Fantastic. And if there's any people listening at the moment that are really intrigued and curious and want to learn more about things coming up, how can they get in contact with the Lantern Project?
So Nano Nagle Place have a website, and we have a section in that. So there's nanonagleplace.ie. You can look at that, our first port of call. And we also have our own social media pages, the Lantern Project on Facebook and on Instagram. And I suppose the email contact is lanternproject@nanonagleplace.ie. But you can engage with us through the website of nanonagleplace.ie just as easily.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Karina, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today and learning all about the amazing work that you do at the Lantern Project. So at the end of the show, until next time, be well, Deborah.